because it is the public's money. The state doesn't have any money. It's the public's money. It just goes through our hands to various programs. If the state and the school district says, oh yeah, of course you can move with the parents in North Carolina. Of course, if the line, she can go to private school. But, oh, she can't leave and take education money. The argument does not hold up. It wouldn't hold up before reasonable people, logically thinking through it. It wouldn't hold up in a court of law. But unfortunately, it holds up for some people in the legislature who don't understand that this is the most basic right of a parent to have choice for their student. We are behind the curve, effectively, for a state that is the leader on so many issues. Not having school choice puts our students at a disadvantage and our parents at a disadvantage. You know, 23 states have a voucher program, trade voucher program, including this. I believe the District of Columbia, that's their program. 17 states have some type of business tax credit program. Colorado has a very successful program called ACE, which is a business tax credit where they contribute money. People just contribute money to send students to private schools. 5 states now have the ESAs, the Education Scholarship, which basically says we will take a certain percentage of your money that's allotted for a student, but the parents control the money, whether it's for private school, whether they want to use it for homeschooling, whether they want online learning, tutoring, contract with public school districts, community colleges, however they want to teach their child. I'm not sure which bill we will file. I'm not sure which path we will go down. That will largely depend on our Chairman of Education to make that decision. The ESAs, the scholarships, seem to be a path that makes sense because every parent has the opportunity to take advantage of it. Every parent. Whether they're in the inner city, in rural Texas, or in the suburbs. Now, will it be means tested, or will it be a certain percentage? We'll work all through that. In fact, what makes our school choice program, even the bill we passed last time, and we passed the school choice bill out of the Senate last time, for the first time in history with $100 million attached to it. It didn't get by the House, but we took the first step. But the really neat thing, Stacey, give me that chair again, I have a short microphone. Sorry. The interesting thing is Stacey goes to private school because her parents hit the lottery. The school district loses all of her funding because she's gone. If Stacey moves to North Carolina with her mom and dad because they got a new job, the school district loses all the funding. But in our business tax credit proposals that we're looking at, in our ESAs that we're looking at, what we're saying to the school district, we're actually going to let you keep some of the money, even though the student's gone. So you actually gain a little bit of money. You know, if 10 students, let's just say they keep 10% or 15% or 20%, that's several $1,000s per student that they don't have to teach anymore. They can use that money. So we're also giving the school districts a little bonus in this case. In fact, if I were a principal or superintendent, I'd say, you know what? Any kids, I'd rather a kid get an ESA scholarship to private school than him move out of the district, because if they move out of the district, I get nothing. But if they get this scholarship, I actually get some extra money. So, why are we losing this fight so far? First of all, it's not because some people on the outside have not tried to push this forward through years ago. It's because the legislature said no. It's not because there aren't legislators who want it to pass. At least in the Senate we had enough, and hopefully we'll have enough votes this time as well. We haven't had enough votes in the House. Have we had enough parental involvement? Have we had enough business involvement? So who's against this? Are the teacher unions? Might be. Remember what the head of their union once said to a Mississippi newspaper. When the Mississippi Reporter said, well, aren't you interested in the kids? And he famously was quoted in this newspaper saying, I'll be interested in the kids when they start paying dues. Remember, the teacher union is different from the teachers. The teachers are wonderful people. We used to have hearings in education. I would say I would always enjoy this. We had 4 or 5 teachers at the committee to testify for or against a bill. They take time, they took a day off from school, they come testify. And most of the time I knew because the lobby had already registered their position that they were against their own teachers. The teachers would represent, because the teachers actually were trying to do the right thing most of the time when they were testifying. The right thing by the kids, the right thing for the classroom, the right thing by the schools, the right thing for the teachers, for the profession. But the unions were protecting the dues. So we're not a strong union state, but they put up pretty good opposition. Educators put up pretty good opposition. Why? Maybe they don't want the competition. Maybe they don't like A through F either. But that's coming. Whatever their reason is, whether they're the union, afraid they'll lose teachers to private schools where they don't have to be in the union and won't pay the dues, whether it's educators that fear competition, whether it's people who are well-intentioned. Look, there are some people, well-intentioned, who think the answer to solving our education problem is just more money. That's not the answer. Give me a great teacher, give me a student who wants to learn, give me a parent who cares, I'll give you a successful outcome. If you look at most of our charter schools, take KIPP, take Yes Prep, take any of them, IDEA down the valley. Same kids coming to those schools are in public schools where most of those kids are not performing well. Get into these programs, and the graduation rate zooms to almost 100%, and almost all of them go to college. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you don't have the ability to be successful in the classroom. We have failing schools in the rural areas as well as the inner cities, but it's a real problem in the inner cities. We know the schools. You can go down and look through the history. The ones who are the dropout factories. We have zip codes in Dallas. We had a study that I handed out when I was education chair. I forget the nonprofit that did the study, going zip code by zip code of how many students went to college and how many students went to prison. And in some cases, the number of students who ended up dropping out and going to prison was 200 more, 300 more than those who went on to college. We as a society cannot accept this anymore. Even if your kids are in a really good school, which most kids are, again, let's not lose sight that we have a lot of great teachers, a lot of great superintendents, a lot of great principals, a lot of great schools. But let's not lose sight of the fact that we cannot be a have and a have-not society. And the reason you become a have and a have-not society is because you have an educated and an uneducated society. You can't live the American dream if you don't have a quality education. And you can't get a quality education unless you are in a good school, where there's discipline in the classroom, where parents are involved, where teachers are energized, and students come ready to learn. And a parent has a right to find that school, to find that principal, to find that superintendent, to find that teacher. They have that right. Not one of you in this room, not one of the people who live in these expensive homes right here in Lincoln, with high property taxes, we're going to take one as well. Not one of you. Not one of the people in the union who protest this. Not one of the teachers who protested, not one of the principals who protested, not one of the legislators who protested would tolerate for a moment their child or grandchild going to a failing school. In fact, you will see many of them sending their children to private schools because they